So you get people to subscribe. We want more people, right? Put a heart
But they're,
on. I'll
yeah,
say
they're
it again.
very
Yeah.
warm and lots of compliments and telling us how much they love this effort, which we are trying to
And
make great
actually,
friendships.
we have a very special guest for you today. Um,
I'm just okay. You want to do it?
no,
I
I was just
I
going to
went to
say
bed with him once or twice. I thought it was me who should do it.
you were what?
Nothing.
Well, that's something.
Oh,
Aha.
there's
Uh,
stuff I didn't know about.
And you're not going to, except everybody, when we're off the air, as I'll call it, the air, we tell each other such stories. That's what you're missing when we only talk about Knots Landing. You don't get to hear the dirt of what
Don't tell them
oh,
that.
okay. The dirt.
They want the dirt, so don't tell them they're not getting it.
No, I mean off of Knots Landing, us, the stuff that we do behind the scenes,
Yeah.
the real people, not just our characters. Okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you were going to start with our next. I'm just going to say one thing about the next person and then you can finish it. This person who was on Knots Landing, somehow I don't know how this happened. Maybe he'll tell us. But I somehow saw this film when he was 20 years old. He did a film called Heading for Broadway. He was 20, okay? When I saw it, this guy without a shirt, always, but this time, I'm not kidding. He danced. He was doing acrobats. He was standing, flipping. I so fell in love with his talent. And he was on our show for a long while. Go ahead, Donna.
Fans and people out there have been asking for people that were on Knots. They wanted to,
Yes.
hear backstage stories and all that kind of stuff. And this guy will give that to you.
And there's
So why don't
so
you
many,
introduce him, Michelle?
okay, there's so many things that he's done, which I'm sure he'll talk about with major stars since Knots Landing. And I mean, he's done everything. He's directed, he's written. He won the LA Drama Critics Award for something he did and wrote as best actor. But you knew him, everybody, as Harold with the body. Paul Cara. I'm going to say it like an Italian, and I don't want Carafotes. Hey,
Oh,
Look who it is.
look who it is. Hi, honey. You
How
look
you doing,
great.
girls? I'm with the big three today.
the big three.
yep, that's us.
That's it.
Uh,
Oh,
I
God.
was told, very early on by what was the executive producer that passed away? Not
Oh,
David
not David
Jacobs.
David
James.
Jacobs.
Larry, yes.
David
Not the
Jacobs.
creator. No, it
Oh,
Oh,
was was it Larry
Larry.
Jacobs?
oh, Kasha.
Yes. He told me, because early on, I think Tanya was afraid of me, and I used to tease her and do all these things. I'd grab her in the scenes, and I knew she was too afraid to say, he's trying to grab me, and she complained, I guess, and he had me up to his office saying, "Paul, this is a woman show. You understand that?"
Oh,
I said, "Well, I'm just trying to grab the woman. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do." I thought.
when
But
in Rome.
yes. Well, I mean, it turned out to be really great, and I'm very appreciative that this is still like you're not done yet, like your show says. I mean, it's people love it all over the place,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of good stories that we can share today that's happened to me directly from the show. I mean,
Oh, we want to hear everything.
I started off in movies. I mean, Michelle, you might know. Do you know Joanna Merlin?
I know
Do you
the
remember
name.
she was
I know
the
that name, yeah,
Yeah,
too.
she was the original something in Fiddler on the Roof. And when I was a kid in New York, when I first went to New York, I got hip pocketed by Jacobson Wilder for commercials. And the feedback was that I was a diamond in the rough, that he needs some more work and he needs to go study. And I was at HB Studios at the time. And they were really rough. They weren't very loving. A place to,
HB?
yeah, HB was
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. I was
You know,
there.
if you didn't bring the right teacup in, you get browbeat for 20 minutes in front of
Tell our
50 people.
audience, this was a teacher of
Yes, but
the drama.
Berghoff, right?
yeah, Herbert Berghoff. And from there though, I was with Jacobson Wilder. They what they call, as you girls know, hip pocketed. So they would take me because they thought I was cute, and they would send me on these auditions, and I wouldn't get it, or I'd come close. And then the feedback was that he needs a little bit more work. So my agent gave me a couple of names, and one of them was Joanna Merlin. And Joanna Merlin was not only an actress, she was in one of the original cast members of Fiddler on the Roof. She was a teacher, and she was happened to be a casting director.
Aha.
So I chose her. I went to study with her at the 78th Street Playhouse. And in the process of that, I was working, trying to make a living, and I got fired from my job.
Which
And
job?
I had a job as a what you call it? I was working in a restaurant, and I was a busboy.
Oh, of course,
And
a busboy actor. We know those.
yeah, yes. And also I had a job at Theater Refreshment on Broadway. So I get
Mm.
$10 a show. So I was living in New York in 1977 or 78 on 80 bucks a week. And it was, so I found all different ways to try to supplement my income. And so I was studying with her, and I got fired, and I couldn't make the class. And at the time it was 10 bucks a class.
Oh my, wow.
Okay. So she called me on the phone, and she said, Paul, how come you're not coming to class? I said, to tell you the truth, I got fired from my job. I can't afford it. And she said, you're very talented, and I want you to come. Don't worry about the money. And I want to speak to you about something. So I went to class. I did a scene. We walked up Broadway. And she said, I'm a casting director. And of course, I said, really? Wow. And she said, I'm casting this movie from a guy who won the Academy Award for You Light Up My Life, Joe Brooks. And he's doing a thing called Heading for Broadway.
Oh,
Can you dance? And of course, as a young actor, we said, yes. Can you ride a horse? Of course. I'm a bull rider. So more than a bullshitter, I guess. But she gave me the script, and she said, go home, learn the script. The character's Ralph Morelli. You're a kid from Philly. It's not too far from Boston. And when you go in on Monday, do not tell him I gave you the script, but I want you to be Ralph Morelli when you go in that room. And I went in the room and told the Ralph story as it pertained to me, and I got the gig in the movie. Now they sent me in,
Nice.
you ladies that danced, as I
oh,
know, because I had a big crush on. Well, listen, the story of you three is also phenomenal. I knew I was a boy, saw Herbie the Love Bug,
oh,
and you were it. You were it. Come on, I had a lot
a
of
lot of
dreams.
our audience doesn't know that. They know me from Knots Landing and a lot of other things. Can I talk about that movie though? I
Sure.
saw you. I don't know how I
Oh,
got it.
Heading for Broadway.
Yes. And I was astounded at your talent.
Uh,
My
thank you.
God, if you didn't know how to dance,
I didn't, and
oh, how did you? Nice. And he's tumbling and he's jumping and rolling and flying through the air with the greatest of ease,
I'm. Well,
right?
I was young, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And when they said action, if you jump, how high do you want me to jump? So that's basically it. But I was working with Gene Foote, who was Bob Fosse's assistant, right hand man, and there was a couple other people involved, and everybody on that movie, uh, they were all on Broadway. Everybody was in dance. Terry Trees was in dancing on Broadway, chorus line. So I was terrified. Because I go like, there's no way I can do this, but it was terrifying.
Right.
But it can be seen Heading for Broadway. It's on YouTube. But they booked that movie for the theaters because they had Empire Strikes coming out. So it makes sense. If I was working at Fox, I probably would have done the same. But it's a very feel-good movie. It was like in the genre of Fame.
Yes.
Uh, I think it came out around the same time, and that was my
That
entree
was it.
into that was the entree into the business.
Remind the audience what and how you were your character, Harold, on the show and how
Yeah.
you worked.
And when you came onto the show, did you have to read for the show? Did you have to audition, or did they just hire you? I don't.
Okay, so this is good. I had quit smoking. One of the many times I've given up smoking. And I quit every night now for 8 hours. So and I'm sober 24 years. You know what I mean? So I haven't had a drink, and back in the not so
That's almost better.
yeah, I mean it's the crazy life that I was leading. But to tell you about the Knots Landing, I came in for the reading. Now, mind you, I didn't know what Knots Landing was. I came out of like three movies. 3 or 4 movies I had done, a little bit of television. I didn't know anything about Knots Landing. I had a friend of mine that said to me, so I come in, I just quit smoking, and there was a guy in the waiting room smoking a cigar. Back in the days when you could smoke in the buildings. So this was like 1987, right? And I almost got into a physical altercation with this guy. I got so revved up. I was so angry. And just as I was going to go for him, the door
Because he
opens.
won't put out his cigar.
He didn't do it.
No,
Yeah,
why?
yes, because the smoke
Okay.
I had quit smoking, so now the
Yeah,
smoke was
got
like,
it.
like all non-smokers now suddenly,
Right.
it's just get it away from me. I was so just when we were about to actually have fisticuffs, this is in the waiting room with a bunch of other actors. The door opens and they go, Paul Carafotes, and I just going for him, and I hear my name on. So I turn and I go in there, and I was so jacked up. I don't know what I did in there, but obviously I got the job. Now, that job was with John Aprea, who passed away just recently, who we
Who?
became very good friends on
Wait
from
a
the show.
minute. With who?
John Aprea, who played my Uncle Manny.
Why don't I remember this? Should I be remembering this?
I don't know. But John, didn't he supposed to? I think, he was very handsome. He's in a lot of stuff. John was, he's great. And
You're saying he was on Knots? Is that what?
yeah, he played my uncle in the very first 5, whatever. I
Was
did
he
2.
one of these guys?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Okay.
he was a mob character, and I was his nephew. Although I never understood the name Harold, I couldn't get it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
was going Harold,
Harold.
and the first director that I come down to the set, and I get the job, and it was 2 jobs. It was 2 shows, and basically in the first show, I think I'm pouring tea and saying 1 or 2 lines or whatever it was, and I said to the director, I said, "Take a look at me. Look at me. Now look at you. Now look at me. Do I look like a Harold to you?" And he looks at me and he looks me up and down. He's like, "No, you don't. Come on, come with me." And remember, we had phones in the sound stages.
Yeah.
So he called the office and he goes, "Hey, I'm down here with the kid playing Harold, and he just doesn't look like a Harold. He should be a Tony or a Joey
Oh,
or a Vinny." And he's like on the phone and he's like, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hangs up the phone. He goes, "You're Harold."
oh.
That's
Now,
funny.
can I also say one thing? I got to say this. So doing Knots Landing, first of all, I was so impressed with you, the gals. I thought that the acting was superb, the writing was great, and soon I was swept up in the whole thing, like the off-camera stuff. I had done a bunch of stuff where people cheated, and they didn't really want to do their off-camera for the other actors. You guys ran it like we were at MGM. The old MGM that's now Sony, and you guys did it like the way I thought that this should be being done. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two, on stage 25, and I don't know how many of you know this, but when we enter, the red door to come onto the stage, there was
A what?
a little piece of the yellow brick road. And I would come in and stand on that and do a little soft shoe and pinch myself and go,
Yeah.
This is like my dream as a kid. Like I'm in the studios, I'm working on this great show. I got the effing Yellow Brick Road,
Yeah.
and it was crazy. I
Yeah.
was so knocked out by that. I mean, it was,
I always was so thrilled to go to that stage because it had been where the Yellow Brick Road was.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was that I couldn't
Something
believe it.
special.
I couldn't believe
Something
that.
special.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, there's a couple of things about you girls that
Uh-oh.
first of all, Joan, I saw you when I was a kid on many television shows, and you worked on Kojak. Now he's Greek, I'm Greek, so this is a big show in our family. And Telly, of course, and I guess Nicolette, was that
Yeah,
her
that was
stepdad or
her
something?
stepfather.
Yeah. Okay, so there was some connection there, but with
And Kevin
Kevin,
Dobson.
Kevin.
Kevin
So
was on the show.
yes, of course, Crocker. Come here,
Yeah.
Crocker.
Uh,
So every time I work with Kevin, and Kevin was very generous with me, he let me bring in stuff. I think the reason why I got my contract was the apple scene. It's now this famous apple scene that I chew up this apple and spit it at him. Well, originally it was eggs, and I throw the eggs off the table. But every show that I did with Kevin, I'd say, "Hey, Kevin, what about this? What if I'm chewing an apple and you're saying this stuff, and I just take the apple out of my mouth and throw it in your face?" And Kevin would go, "That's great. I like that."
oh,
And he would let me he allowed me, he was so generous that he allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
But the one thing he wouldn't let me do that I kept trying to work into every scene with him was, let me give you a lollipop. And he wouldn't go for that.
Tell the kids out there why.
Because
Uh,
on Kojak, he was what was he, a detective Crocker, and Telly Savalas always ate a lollipop. Kevin never did, but I
Right.
just thought it would be funny if Kevin took the lollipop from me and he ate it. Would have been just an homage to that
Yeah.
show from
Yeah.
whence we came.
How many years did you end up being on the show, Paul?
Well, there's a bit of a discrepancy about that because on IMDb it says 40 shows, but I believe I did 50.
Oh,
So
uh,
I started in 87. Okay, so we shot in November. It was 6 weeks later before the show would air on television. And so I did, I think, 11 from 87 to 88. Then I got the contract and I was on all of 88 and 90, 88, 89. And I did one show in 90. And I'm believing that the show, which I love, I hate going to do a show now. You get 10 episodes or 6 episodes. We did
Yeah.
like 27, 28.
Yeah.
We gave the fans the juice. You know
Right.
what I mean? They
Yeah.
watch it every week for 6 months. That was fantastic. Now I can't stand it. You watch 8 episodes of something, you got to wait 4 years before the show comes back.
No, I watch it in one night.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, you stream it.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 All right,
Well, sometimes we did 35 shows a year, a
You were
season.
so cute. Yeah.
Well, Joan, I believe, how many, you did 360 of these shows?
Frozen.
I don't know. Did I?
Michelle did the most.
Michelle, how many did you do?
All of them.
344. I thought it was 344.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them. There you go. That's the
Yeah,
answer of
barely.
the day.
Barely. At the end.
I have a question, Paul, because I left the show, and truth be told, I never watched it after I left.
Oh, you're kidding.
It just would have been too painful. That's why.
The
I
stuff-
didn't know if you ever married Olivia.
I went to Mexico to marry her. I think we did get married, but then I had to quickly annul it because yes. Oh, don't look so surprised. Because you threatened Manny that the deal in Lotus. Manny, yeah, there you go. Coming back
I
to you now, Michelle.
remember, Manny. That was during the leather skirt time.
Yes.
Donna.
Oh,
Which
really? Your leather
Manny.
skirt?
Yeah, I
was
want
in
you
love with
girls.
me in real
I
life, too.
want to thank you
That's
girls
what I'm
because
talking
I got a lot of overtime when you started playing games with the leather skirts. Friday night, the Friday night changes. I just sit there and marvel at what was going on and go, we're in overtime.
What? Are you
Well,
saying
because somebody
something
would show up
naughty? Whoa.
like
Are you saying
Michelle would come in
something?
with the leather skirt, and then you guys would have a rehearsal and disappear, and then Donna would come back with a shorter skirt, and then this would go on. This thing that would happen between you ladies,
Oh,
and
all
and
three
I
of us
loved
are
it
just
because I
Donna and
just
me.
well, I mean, wasn't it Donna and you? It might have been Joan and you.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You can tell me. You probably have. I mean, I was there watching
No.
it, so that's what I saw.
I would try to steal Donna's eye makeup. So when she was time to go on, and then I got in there real quick and I did my best side because we both had the same best sides,
Oh, I got a
right?
story. Got a story for you, Michelle. We
Oh,
were we were rehearsing a scene, you and I, and you kept walking around me like in the
Ram.
rehearsal. Yeah,
What?
you go to the left, then I would follow you to the left, and you'd cut over and go to the right. And I'm saying, "What's happening?" I'm in a scene with her, and she keeps, and then you cut back over to the left, and finally I said to you, Michelle, do you want to be on my left side? Is that what it is? And you said, "Oh, Paul, you're the only one that understands me."
The people out there love these stories. They love these stories behind the scene. And
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people we've had on, incredible people we've had on. And somehow we've never gotten to the behind the scenes really too much, as much as what Paul is telling us right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you remember Peter Reckell being on the show?
Of course.
Peter who?
Yeah.
Reckle.
Reckell.
Oh, yeah.
So when I first came on the show, I was doing a lot of scenes with him, and I didn't understand the hierarchy of television. Like if you have a contract, you know what I mean? If you're just come in as a day player, they put your food outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go out in the back and eat the
With a
food.
dog.
In the
Yes, with
trough.
yeah.
You know,
And so Peter, I guess, and I noticed that there was a thing like, people would show up, like, some of the actors would come down when we were shooting, and Kevin was always coming up to me going, take the scene from him, take the scene from him.
Oh, I love that.
oh,
And I'd say, well, like I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. So I just remember
whoa.
I had no fear on Knots Landing. It was one of the few jobs that I came to that I didn't worry about anything. I just would, if I had an idea, I would say it. There was another guy in a scene with me and Peter. He looked like Jack Nicholson. So I said, put on sunglasses in the scene because you're going to look like Jack. And Peter would turn to me and go, do you have a contract? He was always asking me if I had a contract. And I used to say, don't worry, Peter, you'll be back on daytime TV and I'm going to get the contract.
Oh,
We did have though a unique situation on the show in that we could talk to the writers about stuff, talk to the
Yes.
producers about stuff, have, if we didn't like something, there was no shame in going and saying you didn't and working it out. It was a very collaborative kind of thing. And like you said, we would, every Dallas was shooting on the same lot. They'd be
Right.
finished at 5 o'clock. We'd be still there at 10 o'clock at night, trying to get it right, trying to make
Yeah, no,
everything perfect.
it
but
was
that,
run professionally and really, like I said, top
yes.
notch. I
And for
always
actors,
did. I never liked that they called it a nighttime soap.
No.
I don't know
Oh,
why.
it
I
was
just
more
oh,
than that. It
girls.
was
I hated
richer
it.
than that. It was
yeah, I
We
richer.
were
didn't.
a drama. We were a nighttime drama.
Drama. Yeah,
That,
we were.
Yes, yes.
absolutely the way we played the game. But it became, you go on long enough and soap bubbles.
Well,
Bubbles
Jelly
start coming
Bubbles.
at you. We'll talk.
Jellybubbles.com, everybody. I have the books.
I
I,
know
I
we're going to talk about your books in a minute, but
okay.
keep going.
I also want to say about what Donna was saying. I was always sort of nipping into the writer's office, trying to give them stories. Like what happened to me.
but that's why the door was open, which was a wonderful thing. That going upstairs to David or Michael Pfeiffer
Larry's
when
or
he joined, they listened, and it was a collaborative effort, and it was ahead of its time. They, they,
Yeah.
they,
Yes.
I think
Well, I think it was unique, actually, not just ahead of its time, because I don't think that happens today much.
You have to say
no, it doesn't, but that's
word,
a whole other discussion too.
every word has to be spoken the way it's written.
Yeah, I did a
Oh.
show. I forget which show it was, but every single if you changed a the or an or
Yes.
anything
One
like
of
that,
those two.
they'd come in and you'd have to shoot it again.
Yeah.
Well,
That was,
they do things like you have a speech, for instance, and they'll say, "Hey, take the first two lines out, put the second line at the end, and try it again." And you
Oh,
got to
Well,
go,
if
huh?
they're telling you to do it, there was their reason for it.
mm.
But
Or you won't
I
come
remember
back.
going. I remember the power. See, I had a friend of mine that told me, "Wait till these shows start airing on Knots Landing. You're gonna change. It's gonna be a change of life." And I'm going, "Hey, I was in a movie with Tom Cruise. I starred in this movie. I did this with Demi Moore."
Oh,
He
yeah,
goes, "Listen,
story.
listen, forget that shit." He goes, when you start showing up on Knots Landing, watch what's gonna happen to you." And I could not believe to the degree of how powerful this show was. I
Yeah.
could cross Sunset Boulevard, a car would come to a screeching stop, a big, LA Rams football player get out of the car, pick me up and say, "My wife wants to meet you," and throw me into the car, take me to some hotel. I remember telling Larry, I said, I was at the gym working out and I had my head down, I'm washing my hair, and I see another pair of feet. You know what I mean? It's not my feet. And I look up and there's a guy standing there and he goes, "Do you love her?" I go, I'm
What?
sorry? Do I love who?" He goes, "Olivia, Olivia, do you love her? My wife, I can't believe you come to this gym. If I don't, I tell her I see you here, and if I don't give her the answer, she'll kill me." And I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, can you wait till I finish and when I'll meet you in the lobby and I'll give you some stories." And then
so
there was another one. I'm a big Beatle fan, and the Beatles are the reason why I probably got into the business anyway. I performed as a young kid playing the Beatles. And so I went to London and I was at St. Paul's Cathedral. And I was sitting up in I don't know if you've been to St. Paul's, a beautiful
Heaven.
cathedral. Yeah. And so I was sitting up on the balcony and I'm listening to this sermon, and all of a sudden this screaming starts. I mean, like the Beatles showed up.
Oh,
And I look down and there's like 20 all Catholic girls in the little French Catholic uniforms looking up at Monsieur Heaven, Monsieur Heaven, and they're screaming. And I'm like going, "All right, take it easy. I'll meet you outside. I'll do that. Yes, it's okay." But it was
yeah, we were
so
huge
thrilling.
fans. Oh my God.
In New York, going through Times Square, guys, truckers, "Hey, Harold, give it to him, Harold, come on," like just insane. And
Tell us
by the
once.
way, all races, everybody. I had unbelievable amount of black fans. I had,
Oh yeah,
whatever. It didn't matter. The show reached like
everybody.
Donna. I was in Vegas at a fight, and Charles Barkley. I was in like a green room, right? And I'm standing there, I'm having a drink. Charles Barkley sees me, and he looks at me, he goes, "Donna Mills, baby. Donna Mills." He didn't say my name. He's looking at me going, "Because I'm associated with you. I'm on the show." He just starts losing it about you. Charles Barkley. I said, "Hey, Charles, take a step back. Take it easy. Take it easy."
I'll take the time. You talked about black people. We were the first show on television that actually had a black neighbor.
We had our next door neighbor was
Yeah.
black. No one had done it yet.
I
We
did
had
a
a
pilot
black
with Ray Moody.
neighbor, and oh my gosh, yes, I love him. Oh, I'm gonna shut up now because I'll cry.
Oh,
Um,
it's okay.
yeah, we did have the best of the best, and everybody wanted a little piece of us, and we gave it to them.
Well,
All
that's
colors,
Yeah,
all religions, all everything.
yeah.
That's true. I mean, I can attest to that. I mean, I grew up in Somerville, Mass, and I had like a cadre gang of my black friends that were on the other side of the tracks. And when I left, they were like, first of all, they were into me like trying to make it. They like when I was leaving at 18, they used to call me Fotez because my last name's Carafotes, but they called me Fotez, and they were saying, next time we see you, baby, it's got to be on TV, man. Come on. And the first show I did was Different Strokes. That was my first television appearance.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
You started at a very good
Yeah, I
level.
have to ask you, as the mother of that lovely girl who I play tennis with now, which is so incredible.
And I want to come.
Okay. Did you love her?
I did.
Yeah?
Well, not in real life. I loved her
No,
as
no, I don't mean
as a
that.
character.
Yeah.
I think like yes. I mean, working, I mean, of course, you come on that you're doing these things, and everybody's got a personality and there's a different thing. She was a little reserved, she was a little, I thought, more protected, or you know what I
How
mean?
old were you?
Like
How old was she?
she was
What was
young.
her age?
She was probably 17 or 18.
Yeah.
I was
You,
27.
yeah, that's why. You were a little bit too sexy for her.
Yeah, I was a little, I do tend to, like I was asked once on Entertainment Tonight, can you describe yourself in 5 words? I said I can do it in three, just too much. So
Yes.
sometimes I guess I was a little strong for her. But, I mean, I just recently saw her. We did the Hollywood show together. It's the first time I've seen her. She was at my 30th birthday party at the St. James Club. This is where I met my
Oh,
wife, by the way.
Oh,
And she came to that, and that was the last time I saw her. It was like
yeah.
1990. So I
Yeah.
hadn't seen it.
We've had her on the
I
show.
saw.
She's just lovely. And I've had lunch with her a couple of times and that. I mean, we've kind of reconstructed our bond, because we
Yeah,
haven't seen each
reconnected.
other for a long time. And she's just a lovely girl. She would flip out if you came to play tennis with us.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Do
oh,
not
good.
tell her and just come.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
And it was a little odd because she, like Michelle said, she was young. And I teased her a lot. Like I was having fun with her, and she was, was trying to get her to loosen up and sort of, just let go a little bit because there was other stuff going on that like in our lives, we all have other things happening, and she was obviously sort of like, and she said to me that she may have been thinking about leaving the show. That when I came on, I think that she had done it for 6 or 7, maybe 8 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a long time to be involved in a show. And as you guys all know, every time we get a job, it becomes like a family troop. Like we're all sort of these huddled masses that get together and we're fighting the elements and trying to put something together that we love, that we respect, that trying to do a good job, and we fall in with each other, and it could be for 4 weeks or 2 weeks or six, whatever it may be. But
Family.
8 years, 10 years, Michelle, I mean, you were on the show from the beginning. So you've had, I always like to say that you guys slept with everybody and did all the drugs before I got there.
Well,
See, I was just
maybe
starting.
drugs never.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I definitely slept with everybody. So,
Oh,
Yeah, you did.
yeah, on and off. And
oh,
we'd
shut
watch her.
up.
Oh, God, she's such a slut.
Not true.
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, it's true. It's true. She was always reaching under the thing, trying to grab me. It was a whole thing going on.
Joni was the pure one.
But it's
She had
boring.
her hubby, who is still hubby. How long have you been married, Joan?
Oh, well, Jack slipped on the number 40, 42.
40 years.
years.
High school sweethearts.
There should be a medal. You should get a medal.
Oh, I agree that anybody forever and ever and ever, amen, gets one of those things like a gold or silver, you name it. But it's a recognition. It's either means you're boring and or
No, it's
or
today
or it's-
especially.
Was this
it-
at Guthrie when you went to Guthrie, or was this?
I did go, yes, I did. That was how I got my equity card. Was there with Sir Tyrone Guthrie, who for every rehearsal, everything. And you could know when you were going to get a note because he had those kind of slippers with no back on them. So he would salop, 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 salop down to the stage and say, nobody but your mother will care for that, because we played kind of like doors, because the Guthrie Theater initially, and probably still is sort of in the round.
Around
Oh,
It is
or
totally,
semi. Yeah.
yeah, and it's quite a place to learn when you're 18 years old. That was a gift to watch Zoe Caldwell.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God,
God.
she just blew me away. I thought this is the best school, and turn people into incredible actors just by watching
Well,
these
Yeah.
amazing
Knots Landing was
Hume
quite like
Cronin.
that too, you know. Knots
Yeah, but
Landing
with
really
Hume,
had a lot of very, very highly regarded actors, and as you all
Yeah.
are,
Oh,
and
yeah.
also the professionalism that went on. There was no screwing about on that. You know,
no,
we went and did the rehearsal. We laid it
yeah,
down. You know,
yeah,
knocked it out. Um,
we cared a lot.
but Joan was the one that told me that after every season, go get your haircut. Go get a new haircut.
You. Oh my
She said,
God.
Paul, you got to get a new haircut. It's like,
Uh,
you know,
I want to talk about
really?
the books.
Oh, Charlie
I
Bubbles?
don't know. Yeah, do you want to? This man does something so extraordinary.
We could talk to you for two more shows before talking about the books.
Be
But
happy to
they
do
have
it.
to have, yes, and you're coming back because we want more stories
yeah.
about Demi Moore,
Oh, well, I got a good one
Cruise,
about her.
Tom Cruise,
Oh, yeah.
so many stars he's worked with. Oh my.
James
Anyway,
Gandolfini.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen so many pictures of the two of you together.
Oh,
So
we
we
were great
do
friends.
want you back, but you have to tell the story about what you're doing today because it's so
Okay,
today,
filled with heart.
so all through the acting and you know the successes, the pitfalls, the drugs, the alcohol, I was lost pretty much trying to figure out who I was, you know. And when my son Charlie was born, voila, the answer had come to me, you know, in this beautiful gift, this little baby boy. And when I was in the eighth grade, I used to, you know, I used to daydream out the window. I sat next to the windows, big bank of windows, and I would imagine myself in Hollywood and on the movies and tell, you know, all this stuff. And I daydreamed. I wasn't a really good student. I was really good at daydreaming. But there was a bank of a heater because I was back east, so the heat would blow the warm air into the room. So I used to blow bubbles off my tongue into the airstream and it watch them float across the room and like hit people on the face or the nose and they'd be going, hey, what the hell? And they'd be looking around and I'd be in just having such a great time. So like I was 48 when Charlie was born. So like 35 years later, here I have this baby and I would blow the bubbles at him. And he
oh,
would try with his little tiny chubby hands and he'd smile with the toothless smile. Ooh, yeah. And it was so beautiful. And I would put him down for his nap and I would go into the kitchen where my computer was. And I was living in this penthouse apartment that Jack Kennedy used to own down in
Oh my
Koreatown.
God.
And I was at look out the window again. And here I was with my baby and I'd be daydreaming out the window about my son and what's going to happen, you know, what's he going to be like. And I thought I just remembered like I blew those bubbles and he liked the bubbles. And so I said, Charlie Bubbles, well, what would it be like if a baby or a child could blow this bubble when they're scared or they're, you know, they need to get out of a situation and it would protect them and it would take them on these magical rides? Who would he meet? What would he do? He's got to be helpful, loving, and kind. And it developed from those little times with him. So I was reading to him, playing guitar, singing to him all the time. And so this idea, Charlie Bubbles, you know, bubble gets you, you know, it's a magical ride. And so I thought since I was reading all these books to him that I could write a book. So it took 5 years to write that first book. It wasn't as easy as I thought, but I did it as a gift to him that in the time that he would become a dad, he could pull out this book and say, your grandfather wrote this for me. And he would read it to them. So it was mainly that was it. One book, one gift for 20 years down the 20, 30 years down the line for him. I'll be long gone. He'll, have this keepsake, a family heirloom, more or less. So I gave it to like my friends Joe Mantegna, Gandolfini, Chris McDonald, all these actors who I used to party with. They could not believe that I, this wild child of Hollywood, this crazy kid, they used to call me the Zeus, the great Greek Zeus, and that could write this little sensitive, soft story about this child, this baby. So they kind of pushed me to put it out. So I self-published it. It did pretty well. And one of Charlie's motto is not only to be helpful, loving, and kind, but to say yes to life. Because when you say yes, anything's possible. My life especially. Like if I didn't daydream and say, I'm going to go to New York and do this, would I have ended up here? No. So that's one of the tenets of the story. To say yes and anything's possible. If you say no, nothing happens to you. If you say yes, the whole world opens. So Charlie came down the stairs one day and said, Hey, Dad, is it going to be another Charlie Bubbles book? And I was like, oh, shit. you know, and I had this idea of a musical book. So I wrote the second book, which was Charlie Bubbles to Smartsville. And that's where the Smartsville ants live. And in this colony of ants, they're very joyless. So the queen sends out the ants to try to bring back anything it can to somehow ignite some joy in her antum. So, Charlie's friends from the first book get captured. So he's got to make a conscious decision now. He's a little bit older. He's going to blow the bubble and go find them and go help them. And he finds them and they actually capture him because he drinks from a stream and puts him to sleep. And here come the ants and they carry him back to the lair and they get ready to chop up. They're making the stew, these things.
I have a question. I know I'm interrupting in the middle of your story. Tell them right now how many books you've written of Charlie Bubbles.
Oh, there's 6 original books, but we have 9. The first one's now in Spanish. I put together a hardcover of the original 3, and we have 1 coloring book. We also have a music CD. I wrote a bunch of, yeah.
Wait a minute, you didn't ask me to sing on it.
The next song you're in.
Okay. I have to tell the audience though what is so perfect about it because you explain what you've done with it and
Okay, so
and
Charlie,
the charity.
Yes. So Charlie, when he went to school, preschool, he would want to bring the books and give the books to his friends at school. And then my daughter, same thing. So now I got my daughter Gianna, she's going, he's going. I'm giving out 30, 60, 90, 100 books. I'm buying the books. I'm giving them. I go, yeah, this is great. This is great. So one signing we did, Charlie was doing that. He was giving the books away. And the idea came that why don't we set up a foundation, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, and where we can raise money. The books now are up at Amazon and a few other places. And any book you purchase, I don't take not 1 penny. All the money goes to Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids so we can purchase more books. We go to children's hospitals. We've been to LA Children's, San Diego, Boston Children's, Louisiana. I mean, so many different, foster kids, homeless kids, Christmas in the City.
Love it.
We've given out maybe 5,000 books. We've given to, I just did, we had the fires, as you girls all know, and I'm sure, I'm hoping that nobody,
almost we got almost. We were
okay,
close.
so I've given 250 books to One Children of the World. And I give them books and they give them out to all the fire victims, the kids, and that kind of thing. So that's what we do. We go to homeless places, we go to preschools, regular schools. So if anybody goes to charliebubbles.com, they can make a donation, they can buy a book.
Put it up on the screen also, everything they need to sell for you. We are going to put it
Oh,
up on.
good. Okay.
They'll do it afterwards. They'll cut it in.
Okay. So you scared me because I thought we were going to go back to the beginning of this where I'm outside. I got the phone. I got to
Oh
bring
my
in my wife.
God. Oh
I got
my
to get my
God.
wife Tony in here to do it. Thank
And your
God so much.
son wrote one. You
Yes.
told your
Okay.
son
So
to.
now during the pandemic,
Mm.
this was the greatest time for me and my family. I mean, I know it was horrible out there in the world. People couldn't go to the beach and couldn't go out to eat. You couldn't go see your mother, your grandmother, this, that. But for us, we were this unit that we made videos and we made up games and we played basketball. We did all kinds of stuff. The kids were really great, and we just constantly were doing stuff together. And so one day I walked into Charlie's room and I said, I think it's time. He was 13. I said, it's maybe time for you to write your own Charlie Bubbles book. Wouldn't that be great to add you were the inspiration and now you can become a writer? And he said, because he couldn't say no, could he? Because you got to
No.
say yes to life. So I had him. But he said, well, what do I write about? And we just had gotten a little white Morky Poo Xena, little 6-pound dog.
Oh.
Beautiful puppy, still have her now. I have my mother-in-law's dog, Sparky. So we've got 2 dogs here. But I said, why don't you write about Xena? You love Xena, you know about Xena. I said, make it a rhyme book, write about Xena, and I closed the bedroom door. And so he called me a couple days later. He said, Dad, come in here. I want to read this to you. And he read it. And I thought, geez, he actually did it. So I said, well, we're going to work together, fix it. We'll do a few little things and we'll do this and that to it. And it was very good. So it's called Charlie Bubbles, Xena the Great,
Love
about
it.
our dog.
That's
And
Love
in
it.
this episode, Charlie he's bored. He gets in his bubble and he's flying around. It's a rainy, cold day, and he looks down in an alleyway, and there's this little shivering dog. And now he has to make the decision. Does he take the dog home? Does he save the puppy? Does he do it? Of course he does, because he did the right thing. But he was scared because
Oh,
he would be scared because he's got to meet his dad and say, "Look, the dog was in the alley." He was afraid of his dad, maybe saying, "That's not you shouldn't have done that." But of course, that's not what happens. But it's a really sweet story, a
we
very
love it.
sweet story.
What are
that's
you
very
doing
nice.
next week, the week after that, and then maybe a month or so from now? Because I think we all want you back.
Okay, listen, I want to tell one more story that's not slanting related to the newest book. You girls all know about there are hundreds of these Knots Landing groups, Facebook, Instagram, so many of them. And I go on to those and I interact with some of the fans and, blah, 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 it's a good thing to do, stay in touch. So one day I got somebody DM me, this gentleman, David. He said, is it possible for you to talk to this dad? Lives in New York. He had a daughter born with half a heart.
Oh.
And unfortunately, after 97 days, she passed away.
Oh,
Oh.
And I
God.
said, yeah, how am I going to say no, right? You go, yeah, of course. So he sets up the phone call. We're talking. And I had no idea what was coming because he goes, like, really soon into the phone call, he said, would you consider writing a book about my daughter? Because we know that Charlie Bubbles is all about, being helpful, loving, and kind. And would you do that? Now, that's a tall order. You know what I mean? I've never been asked, you want to write a book about so it didn't take me long. I thought about it as he was talking. Now my mind goes into a different thing. He's talking, and I'm thinking, heart. Charlie Bubbles has a lot of heart. This girl's born with half a heart. So I said to him, yeah, I'm going to write it. And I wrote Charlie Bubbles' Braveheart about Isabella, a little girl, Isabella. And Charlie comes into her life, and it's a very, very, it's touching, very sweet story about Charlie and Isabella. But as we
Oh,
all know, that Isabella doesn't make it. So it's a book also to help parents who are grieving get something from the book. So it's called Charlie Bubble's Braveheart. So
Yes.
that came through Knots Landing. So this is full circle. It doesn't stop the Knots Landing. We are not done yet, girls.
Oh, we love you.
Good for you.
Oh,
Yeah. What a
We're
How
great
about that for a
way.
segue?
What a great way to end it. Thank you, Paul.
I
We
love you,
love
girls. Thank you.
Really,
I'm very,
Love you
very.
back.
I'm-
We love you back.
yep. And we'll have you back. Hey, thank you all for tuning in today. I thought it was really fun. I love Paul. I love the stories he had to tell, and we're going to have him back because I think you'd like to hear more. Yeah?
right. And remember,
We're
We're
not
not
done
done
yet.
yet.
I beat you.
I know you did. You did that on purpose.
I did.